I'm Liz Gunn from New Zealand Loyal, which is a party being built by the people and being built to give power back to the people. One group in our society that needs much more power and many, many fewer regulations and much less bullying is our farmers. I've said that in the policy overview. They are a sacred group in this country. They have been the backbone of New Zealand for generations, and to see how they've been dishonoured and had countless regulations that are driving many of them into depression and despair just breaks my heart. And one of our big platforms is looking after our farmers, releasing them from state overreach and oppression and allowing them to get on with what they do so well, which is look after the lands and grow the foods that we all enjoy. So when I saw this press release this week from Groundswell, I felt it was really important to honour the substance of what Groundswell has written here. This is the headline of the press release. Boycott countdown. Supermarket heavyweight punches down on Kiwi farmers. And the press release from Groundswell then goes on to read, this week, the head of sustainability for supermarket giant Countdown was published in the media discussing the company's desire to reduce its carbon footprint. And then a quotation, companies should be assessing their impacts on our environment. However, instead of looking at how they, an international, Australian-owned multinational with 194 stores New Zealand-wide, can reduce their emissions, they have decided at Countdown to blame farmers, Groundswell New Zealand co-founder Bryce McKenzie said. It is, he went on to add, unfortunately, a narrative New Zealand food producers are all too familiar with. Accustomed to being the government's environmental scapegoat, farmers and rural communities are hardly surprised to see big corporate players now also dancing to the same tune. And then he adds, Groundswell New Zealand are very sceptical of Countdown's claim that most of their emissions are the fault of local suppliers. This is a massive chain operation that utilises refrigerants, has massive distribution networks requiring a great deal of fuel and substantial energy costs to run nearly 200 stores. They also import huge amounts of products from overseas, relying on air and sea travel. They cannot expect us all to believe that they are practically carbon neutral except for emissions that farmers are responsible for. Countdown also uses GWP 100 to calculate emissions, and that is an outdated and less accurate way to measure methane emissions. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, have reported that using the GWP 100 method overestimates methane's warming potential by 3 to 4 times. They advocate for the use of the updated GWP metric and for accounting correctly for carbon sequestered on farms through trees, bush, crops, grass and soil. We call BS on Countdown's buck passing and suggest they substantiate their claims. Following that, they might like to reflect on why they had to push out their own zero waste to landfill target from 2020 to 2025 while spending $400 million on a rebrand. New Zealand's farmers are among the most efficient in the world. We pride ourselves on our sustainable practices and the care we take of our environment. It's fair to say that as a community we are sick to death of being the scapegoats of governments and big corporations who don't want to take responsibility for their own environmental impacts. So, says Bryce McKenzie from Groundswell, we have decided to take action. From Monday the 24th of July, 2023, to Sunday the 7th of August, Groundswell New Zealand will be calling on our supporters to join us in boycotting Countdown. We, the food producers of New Zealand, have had enough. That is all from the latest press release from Groundswell. And I want to add, New Zealand Loyal is backing you all the way, Groundswell, agrees with everything you have said in that press release, Bryce McKenzie. And we encourage all our New Zealand loyal supporters to join that boycott, and all our supporters at Free NZ Media. And let's get the call out. Let's combine against this supermarket chain from Australia and say, you do not get to bully our New Zealand farmers and suck up to a corrupted government with incorrect and faulty information on climate change and faulty metrics. You do not get to do this with our approval. We will not buy at Countdown stores. Come on, New Zealand consumers, support us all and stand with Groundswell and stand against their bullying of our farmers.